morning and welcome to Columbus Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Sarah A. Watt. I'm a licensed religious science practitioner, and it's my great honor to be leading you in meditation this morning. So go ahead and just relax into a comfortable position. Slow down your breathing. Just letting your body melt into relaxation. Listen to the soothing sounds of your inhale and your exhale. Feeling the expansion and the contraction of your body as you breathe. Let your breathing slow down naturally, allowing its slow rhythm to soothe your body into deeper relaxation. Now, just allow yourself to think about the words prosperity, financial freedom, money, and abundance. As these words meander through your mind, just take a moment to recognize what images they bring up for you. Perhaps you see yourself inside of a gorgeous, spacious home. Maybe you see yourself driving a new car or traveling to new places all over the world. Perhaps the visions that appear for you are ones of you gifting things to the people that you love. Or maybe you see yourself easily and happily paying your bills. Whatever visions or thoughts are showing up for you, simply recognize them and allow them to paint your picture for financial abundance. What does it look like to be prosperous? To know that money comes to you easily? What does it look like to be abundant? To let your imagination paint a picture of abundance. As you see yourself living inside of this vision, just notice if there are any disempowering thoughts or beliefs that come up for you. Perhaps a hesitation to imagine what it is that you really want. Maybe a sense that it's not safe for you to imagine all of these things, that you would disappoint or even anger others. Perhaps thoughts that whisper that you are not worthy of having this prosperity, or that you don't need all of this. Whatever thoughts or beliefs might be there, simply identify them, and on each exhale, imagine yourself breathing them out, releasing them, breathing in, breathing out, exhale, release. And so let us just pause here in this beautiful energy for a moment and be present with these things. As you stay just a moment longer in this beautiful vision that you've created, allow yourself to just feel good here, connecting the emotions of what it feels like to be prosperous, what it feels like to be carefree and generous, stable, safe, creative, joyful. As you drift in these beautiful emotions and in this lovely vision, just allow yourself to take in these words. I deserve to be here. I am worthy of prosperity. I am abundant. Money comes to me easily and frequently. I am a good steward of my money. My money helps me and helps others. It feels good to easily pay my bills. It feels safe for me to be wealthy and to have more money than what I need. I am financially free. I am a good person. The more money I have, the more good I can do. I deserve to be prosperous. And so just take this moment to bring your attention back to your breath. Taking in a big, deep inhale of fresh air and exhale it all the way out. Let the natural rhythm of your breathing bring you here, back to this present moment, back to your body. And just take another moment here to notice how good you feel, how light, how joyful, how free. And know that this is you. And from this place of deep connectedness with yourself, money flows and prosperity lives. You are wonderful, you are abundant, and you are worthy of this and so much more. Namaste.
The cardstock would be great to especially around and the word more or less. It's actually not bad on Amazon.
Good morning, Columbus Center for Spiritual Living.
Good morning.
My name is Sarah Awad. I'm a licensed religious science practitioner, and I'm going to be sharing the announcements with you this morning. First of all, a huge thank you to everyone joining us in person and on our Facebook page for meditation and Sunday celebration. Our 2023 pledge packets were mailed last week. If you did not receive a packet and would like to receive one, please let us know. Thank you to those who have turned in your 2023 pledge cards. Due to the recent disaster in Florida, Ccsl and the Northwest Masonic Temple are teaming up to create a roof tarp drive to help those in need. Since most of the Southwest region is without electricity or water, a lot of homes have had their roofs severely damaged. They are having difficulty finding roof tarps. If you would like to donate a roof tarp with grommets, new or used, with or without any damage, please drop it off in the bin marked Roof Tarp Donations, located outside the Northwest Masonic Temple near the building. We will keep this drive going through next Sunday, October 23rd. Thank you in advance for your support. Our holiday craft and bake sale is back this year on Sunday, December 4th, calling all vendors and baker donators. See your recent Ccsl e-newsletter and use the link to register or sign up in the lobby today. If you would like to facilitate a workshop on Sunday afternoon, complete a 2022 Ccsl workshop request form in the e-newsletter or contact the office. We'd love to have you share your talents with the community. Would you like to host a divine dining event to support the center? If you have questions as to how this works, just ask us. Registration forms are in your e-newsletter or call the office. We now have 2 convenient ways for you to donate to CCSL. We have a new web giving link and a text to give number. These are both on the slide and you can access them from your latest e-newsletter. Are you getting our monthly e-newsletter? It's full of important information about CCSL. If you're not receiving it, please leave your information with Matt today before leaving. If you would like prayer after service or any time throughout the week, you can find our prayer practitioners on our website, columbuscsl.org, or you can submit a prayer request on our Facebook page. Today after service, our practitioners will be in the anteroom just outside these doors. That's the news for today. Let's all stand and sing our opening song, "This Door is Open to You."
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Yes. Yes. Guess what? My name is Reverend Catherine Bliss, and it is my pleasure to be here this morning. So we want to welcome you, those of you in the sanctuary, and those of you that are online. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming and joining us in our Sunday celebration. If you are with us online, please, if you would like, feel free to share our live stream with your Facebook page. We're glad you are here. I'm glad that I am here. It's good to see everyone. So let's, and I also wanted to say that later on today, this service will be posted on YouTube. Yes, YouTube. So you might be able to see that a little bit later today. And again, welcome, welcome. And if you would be so kind now as to please read our mission statement along with me. We serve the transformation of individual lives through education, spiritual practice, and deep community, using spirit and science of mind principles as our compass. And now I'd like to thank Sarah Awad, practitioner Sarah Awad, for the meditation this morning. And then please welcome Sarah back to the platform.
We now begin our sacred service with a reading of these bowls. A reading from Ernest Holmes, Substance and Supply. We should expect so much good that we should conceive of it as being more than we even have time to enjoy. We should feel the presence, appreciate, and give thanks for this good. And now let the music take us into the silence within. And so as we enter into our celebration this morning, I invite you to join me in turning your attention within and recognizing the allness, the fullness of God that is right here, right now. What I know is that the loving presence of Spirit is here in this space this morning, in, as, and through each and every one of us. I speak the truth that each one of us here today is an emanation of the Most High God. And I know that we are blessed by being here together in consciousness this morning. And so I speak my word for each and every person here that today is a day when we set forth on a brave new adventure in prosperity and abundance. Beginning right here, right now, with gratitude for this service and all of the lavish gifts that it brings, for the beautiful message, the uplifting music, the time together in community, and all of the unseen good which I know is already headed our way. And so I know that as we set forth on this path, that Catherine's beautiful message for us today plant seeds of plenty in our hearts, in our minds, indeed in the universal mind. And I declare our acceptance, our openness, both individually and as a community, to an abundant, generous harvest. I include in my prayer this morning not only those in this room, but all of our friends, our family, our loved ones, our brothers and sisters around the world, knowing that right where they are, God is fully present, full and grounded, and overflowing with divine love and divine abundance. And so I bless the service, knowing that we are blessed by being here together in community today. And what I know is that each one of us is raised up from within. And so it is with a full and grateful heart that I release my words into the loving activity of divine law, knowing that this is done, and together we say, and so it is. Amen.
Well, I want to make sure you can hear me. Yeah, woo-hoo.
Yeah.
So we're continuing on a journey. Finances can be something that we immensely enjoy and love, or it can be a pain in the butt, and we may struggle with it a little bit. So this month we begin with an awareness of infinite source from which all flows. Then follow that through the main human experience, both personally and collectively. Today's message is playing with money. Yeah, playing with money. We love it, we hate it, we fear it, we want it. We are so confused about it, or can be. As we get our consciousness clear about money, money will get clear around us. So let's play. Living on earth may be expensive, but it includes an annual free trip around the sun. All I ask is the chance to prove that money can't make me happy. Spike Milligan. All I ask is the chance to prove that money can't make me happy. That was by Spike Milligan. People say that money is not the key to happiness, but I always figured if I have enough money, I can have a key made. Joan Rivers. Money is a terrible master, but an excellent servant. P.T. Barnum. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs and square holes, the ones who see things differently. They are not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may seem as the crazy ones, we see geniuses. Because the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. Steve Jobs. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Winston Churchill. So I already said, today we're talking about money. Raymond Charles Barker describes money as God's idea of circulation and activity in my world. We apply our year-long theme, Everyday Wonder, to this topic, which often has an emotional charge for us, especially in the spiritual center. It's like, what? We're going to talk about money? Yes, we are. To allow God's circulation in the form of money to happen in our life, we must love money. Not in a fear-based, hoarding, clinging way, but as we love all of God. For truly, there's only one, right? That presence, what we call God or Spirit or whatever name you choose to give that which created the magnificence of not only this planet, but beyond our wildest imagination, the infinite universe, and everything that is in it, everything that we see and everything that we don't see, and there's a lot that we don't see. We must release our old beliefs and stories that have hampered us in this flow of spirit. Because if it's all God, it's all God. It's not some God. Money, oh no, money can't be God. Well, if it's all God, it's all God. There is no argument. Money, love, it is all God. Money is as spiritual as everything else. Like everything else, it is an effect that shows up as the cause of our consciousness as it directs it to. Our founder of Science of Mind, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said, I always have an abundance of money and an abundance of whatever it takes to make life happy and opulent. There is a continuous movement forward of supply, of money, of all that I need to express the fullest life with happiness and action. The abundance, opulence, and the joy of the universe should be reflected in our lives since we are expressions of the universe. Thrivent Financial, a Fortune 500 not-for-profit, uses this phrase. Money is a tool, not a goal. When we recognize that we have the privilege of using this divine idea in the mind of God, money as a tool to express the nature of the divine, we open to its sacredness, as well as our own and the world's. Money is a divine idea of circulation in the human world. Thus, it is sacred, as is everything else. Many people have been domesticated into the belief that money is bad, evil, or not spiritual, and such other ideas. Many carry judgment, shame, or guilt around money. We are taught not to talk about it. Don't talk about money and don't talk about sex. Don't do it. Pretending we don't want it, even though we do. If we have lots, we either flaunt it or hide it. If we have little, we also flaunt it, talking about our poverty, making us good people. For many, money is the epicenter of the belief that I shouldn't have what I really want. But money is simply a tool to circulate energy. It's really a symbol. It's an exchange. It's something that our society has agreed that it has value to us, so therefore it does. As we free ourselves from the old beliefs and the emotional conflicts that surround money in our culture and our families, we experience a healthy relationship with money. It flows in, we keep some of it, and we release it with ease, knowing that money is always in circulation. The infinite is incapable of withholding its nature from us. For sure, it created us, so therefore we are its nature. We can't be anything else. So we are this amazing divine creator that put all of this together for our enjoyment, for our pleasure, for as a gift for us just being here. We don't have to do anything for it. We just show up. So as we have seen the talk from a couple of weeks ago, I'm assuming you had some similar talk, opulence and extravagant, lavish abundance. Money is an effect. It's not a cause, it's an effect. It responds to our consciousness just as do our bodies and the world of our affairs. Money is only a symbol, one which we energize with our beliefs and feelings. As we realize that money is neither good or bad, but just a tool for self-expression, our beliefs and feelings calm down and align with truth. As we realize that we are constantly immersed in wealth and that God is, and that God never cuts us off, we become more trusting, more peaceful, and gentler around the flow and the circulation of money in our lives. As we become more peaceful, we can enact everyday wonder around how money works in our lives and in the world. Money becomes a friend. We can get to know our friend better. Also, we can see how money outpictures in our own self-worth and value. Most of us don't have a gentle yet realistic view of how valuable we are. That's true for most of us. Probably not most of us in this room, but for a lot of folks. But consider this. If the universe didn't want or need you, you wouldn't be here. The infinite oneness is taking the time, energy, and thought to be you. It created us, it expresses through us. So value yourself. And since money is an effect, it has to respond. It has to respond. From homes, a person is just what they think themselves to be. They are big in capacity if they think big thoughts. They are small in capacity if they think small thoughts. They will attract to themselves what they think the most about. Agreed? Whatever we're thinking the most about is what we're being. So that is kind of a law. Whatever we think the most about is what our life actually is. One of the beliefs we must release is the pie idea of money. If I have more, I will deprive somebody else. When we recognize that money is a symbol of wealth, a tool for expression of wealth, we realize that we can't drain the universe of wealth. If we enjoy wonderful health, it doesn't deprive anyone else of their health. If we are joylessly in love, it doesn't mean somebody else is excluded from love. But when it comes to wealth, we forget the truth of the divine. Then, being good people, we hold ourselves back and deprive ourselves in the name or the idea of making sure there is plenty for everyone. Years ago, a prosperity teacher calculated that there was enough money in the world for every living person to have 8 million each. I don't have the results of that, and I can't quote who said that, but it's an example. Let's just call it an example. Even if we had 1 million each, I mean, God. A man who loved money more than just about anything said to his wife just before he died, "When I die, I want you to take $1 million and put it in the casket with me. I'm not sure what the afterlife is like, but I want to make sure I have something to start out with." When he died, she prepared to make good on her promise. She made some arrangements at the bank and transferred something to her husband's casket. Then the undertakers locked the casket down and rolled it away. At the funeral, a friend leans over and says, "Girl, I know you weren't foolish enough to put all that money in there with your husband," she said. "Listen, a promise is a promise. I can't go back on my word. I told him that I was going to put $1 million in the casket with him." "You mean to tell me you really did?" "I did," said the wife. "I wrote him a check."
That's good. That's good.
There's no lack to the infinite, just in the conditioning of our minds. Money is, of course, not the only way for wealth to express in our lives, but we must be willing for that wealth to flow in ways that are the highest and the best. To hold back out of a belief of lack, deprivation, and not enough just perpetrates the global conscience of poverty. We are here to thrive, yes? Yes. As we recognize that money is neither good or bad, nor something evil, nor something to be worshipped, we align with the nature of the universe, which is always flowing, always has plenty. We bring curiosity, everyday wonder, to this tool of divine expression in our lives. It is no longer a taboo topic. We don't need to hide or flaunt, just be with it. We free ourselves from the thought cages that have imprisoned our divine splendor. Prosperity is not wholly a matter of capital or environment, but a condition brought about by certain ideas that have been allowed to rule in the consciousness. The Vietnam War was in full swing in the late 60s, and the father of a 10-year-old son was sent to fight in the war. It was hard on the man and his wife for him to leave, go to war, but perhaps it was the hardest on their 10-year-old son, who didn't understand why his dad had to leave. A few weeks later, the mom was gathering up clothing to donate to an organization that was sending items to the orphanages in Vietnam. The mom thought it might help her son to feel a little bit more connected to his father if he would go through his things and make his own choices about what to send. The boy threw clothes he had grown out of into the box. Then he picked up his favorite jacket, a leather pilot's jacket, which he loved. It still fit him, and it was in great shape, except for a slight tear on the left arm of the jacket. Even though he loved this jacket, he decided that maybe some boy in this country could enjoy it, and that he would feel like he was somehow involved with his dad. So he threw it in the pile of clothes to be donated. Bless you. A few months later, the boy and his mom received a letter from his father, which the mom opened excitedly and began reading. Dear sweethearts, we have been on patrol for many days in a row, and this is the first time I've had a chance to write. Yesterday, though, was the best day I've had since being here. We came upon a village that has an orphanage, and while we were there, several children in the town ran up to us. We gave them what we could, candy bars, pens, trinkets. There was one little boy there who reminded me of you, son, and when I hugged him, it felt like I was hugging you, because he was just about your size, and he had on a leather jacket just like yours, except it had a tear in the left sleeve. This 10-year-old boy, waiting for his dad to come back, gave something of himself purely for the sake of giving. And he ended up not only getting to hear how much it meant to another boy, but how it touched his father. When we seek money or power for the sake of the ego, we spend energy chasing the illusion of happiness. When we seek money for personal gain only, we cut off the flow of energy to ourself. But when our actions are motivated by love, there is no waste of energy. When our actions are motivated by love, our energy multiplies and accumulates, and the surplus energy we gather and enjoy can be channeled to create anything we want. That was by Deepak Chopra, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. As we look at our money situation, what does it say that you must believe about it? You might try something like this. Sit with money, preferably with a larger denomination bill, $100 or something like that, maybe more. I've never seen a $1,000 bill other than imagining it. It's here in my pocket now. As you contemplate this bill, listen to the chatter that happens in your mind. So as you're sitting with a $100 bill or a $500 bill or a $1,000 bill, just spend some time with it and just notice what happens in your mind. Use this as an opportunity to discover what you're really feeling about money. Bring a sense of wonder to this everyday thing. Everyday thing. Jot down any old limiting beliefs that you no longer want. Your choice. Release them in a fire. Then write the truth-based beliefs you want to incorporate going forward. Does that make sense? Spend a little time with money, notice what thoughts come up, be willing to release them if they're no longer serving you, and if they got anything to do with lack, it means they're not serving you. Burn them up, let them go, release them, and create some new ones that really do support you. How do you feel about words like lavish, opulent, extravagant? Quiet, very, very quiet. Consider this, or another playful way to expand a greater feeling and experience of lavish wealth. There's this wonderful, well, I think it's a wonderful game. I think it's fun. And anything fun with money is a wonderful thing. It's called The Prosperity Game by Esther and Jerry Hicks. The point of the prosperity game is to expand our ability to receive and spend wealth, and to direct us to what it is we desire. I suggest trying it for 30 days or longer. There must be an idea and an experience of opulence for it to manifest in our lives. So here's the interesting thing is what we feel, what we think, and what we feel creates what it is that we believe. So if we can practice the prosperity game, which is basically, and many of you may have heard of this already or not, but it is fun. I'm going to tell you it's fun, because it is. That is, every day you deposit $1,000 into a make-believe checking account. $1,000. And every day you have to spend that $1,000. And make it as real as possible. Like you're going to spend this $1,000, for me it started out like, okay, well there's a couple bills I want to pay. Yeah, I don't know if that was a whole lot of fun, other than I got to pay them off, and that felt good because it was no longer a debt that I owed. And you have a little check register. You can use an old check register or a piece of paper. Make your deposit, $1,000 today I made the deposit, and then you have to spend it. Yeah, $1,000. The next day you deposit $2,000. And you have to spend it. The next, $3,000. The next, 4, 5, 6. Try it again for 30 days. The point is here is to feel the joy of spending money, to play with it. Because we get all hooked up around money and the lack of it, or what we must do for it, or all of those kinds of things. Doing this is fun. It's not real money, it's play money, but we're playing with it. Have you ever done anything and just sort of played with it? There's no expectation of anything, you're just having fun with it. There's no, it has to be this or it has to be that. And yeah, there's a little bit of rules, but so what? There's a little bit of rules. We're playing with it. And have you ever noticed that when you're doing something, and when I say playing, and maybe that makes us all feel a little bit like a 5-year-old, but sometimes it's probably a good idea to turn to that 5-year-old playing. Because when we're playing, life is going on and it's happening, and we're just having a good time. We're just having a good time. And the more of a good time that we have, the more of good times that show up. Because it's who we're being, it's what we're doing, it's what we are, it's our consciousness that brings us to that. So I do happen to have, I'm going to pull this around too much. I do happen to have, I didn't print one out for everybody, but I've got more information because I'm not going to talk about all of that up here and just bore you to death most likely. But a check, you can write fake checks, you can write fake deposits. Just don't try to take them to a real bank, okay? That would not be good. That is not plain. That's in trouble. So you play with it. You give yourself $1,000, you spend it. You give yourself $2,000, you spend it. You actually write out a check. I am writing out a check for, well, today for me it would be for a heated mattress pad. And eventually that will end up on my bed. But that's what I can write the check out for. So I'm writing a deposit, like a deposit slip. I'm writing myself checks. And I'm playing with it. I'm having fun with it. I'm changing some aspects of my mind that has some other information that's really not very useful. I truly have everything that I need. And what I want, when I want something bad enough, that comes true too. But I have everything that I need. And part of, for me, how that feels good is I give and I receive. And that giving and receiving, that and word, that is the flow of circulation. That is what keeps money circulating. It's what keeps it moving. Otherwise, it gets stagnant and jumps up into a little pool into a savings account, and then I'm hoarding it like, oh, I can't spend this because this is all there is. That's a lie. It is not all there is. Money is a symbol, it's a tool of having what it is I want and what it is that I want to share. I recently, well actually in April, I went to the dentist and found out I needed to have major dental work to the tune of $52,000. And holy cow, exactly. It wasn't my exact word, but it was close. And I felt very distraught because I was like, $52,000, how in the heck am I going to be able to do that? I have a minister's salary in a time when things have changed and are continuing to change when it comes around spiritual community, because we're kind of reinventing ourselves. That's what's going on. And it's good. It's very good. And so I spoke to my practitioner about this, and she's just like, well, you know you're abundant, right? I was like, well, yeah, I'm abundant. And I said, but $52,000, I mean, heck, I wouldn't even buy a car for $30,000. And she's like, well, you know, the business is that you want what you want. You've decided instead of dentures, you want to do dental implants. And I said, well, it's the smartest thing to do, really, and the money is, you know, it's definitely double. But I think it's the right thing, the right choice for me. And then there's the reasons around all of that. And she said, well, that's your job. Your job is to say what it is you want. What your job is not is to say how it's going to happen. And then she ended up writing me a check for $30,000. No strings attached. No strings attached. She said, if you can toss some money back my way, wonderful. If you can't, don't worry about it. It's an opulent universe. And I have to ask for what I need. I need to know what it is that I want and need so that I can ask for it. Now, I got to tell you, when she said, I have this check for you for $30,000, I was completely overwhelmed. I am a person that can give and give and give and give, but to receive, I mean, I was just, I could feel myself holding it in, even then, as I was handed a $30,000 check. I could feel myself wanting to hold in my feelings about it. Here's a gift that's offered, and I'm like, oh, don't let the feelings out. Well, the feelings came out. I had shed some tears and did a lot of thank yous, and it felt very, very vulnerable to me. It really did. And that was my healing. That was my healing. Also, I moved to Dayton. I don't know, I guess it's probably been about a year and a half now. And when I went to Dayton, the senior minister there decided it was time to resign and to move on to some things that she really wanted to do in her life, which meant moving out and the state even. And I was driving back and forth here from Columbus to Dayton for a while, 2 or 3 times a week, and helping out with the Sunday service and blah, 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 blah. And then I sort of got this feeling that the senior minister thing was, it was starting to unfold, and there was a couple of folks in the congregation that said, well, we think you should be our senior minister. And I said, well, that's up to the whole congregation. I appreciate that, and thank you. And we had done this selection committee stuff and was all fired up about that. Well, a couple of the congregants just said, we're not doing no selection committee. We're not wasting our time and we're not wasting our money. We want you. And I was just like, wow, okay, well, you need to take it to the board, and don't tell me, tell the board. It looks sort of self-serving if I told them. And so they did, and the leadership council said, yeah, that's what we want, and we took a vote, and sure enough, I became the senior minister. Well, thank goodness to me that somewhere in my heart, it must have been what I wanted, because I had already moved to Dayton. And as I was preparing to move to Dayton, again, I was sharing some of that with a few people at the center there in Dayton, Greater Dayton. And one of the practitioners said to me, well, you know, my husband died a year ago, and the whole bottom half of the house, the whole bottom of the house used to be his space. And this woman is soon to be 91 years old, and she said, would you consider coming and living in the bottom of my house? And I was just like, well, of course I would. And I hadn't even been to this woman's house. And she goes, well, come on over and we'll check it out. And I said, oh, well, I got a problem. I got a cat. She goes, oh, you have a cat? And I said, yeah. She goes, you know, I was thinking to myself, because her dog died too, I was thinking to myself, I would like to have a cat. I was like, well, that worked out quite beautifully. And don't you know, they're very good friends. That's a long story. I'm not going to get into that. But here it is. So I come and I move to Dayton. Before I've actually moved, somebody says, come and live in the bottom of my house. Well, they live in Bellbrook. It's a very, very nice home. The whole back of the downstairs is, evidently that ring wanted to take flight. The whole downstairs, the back of it is all glass, and it overlooks a forest area. There's nothing even back there but woods. It's beautiful, and I love it. It's peaceful, it's quiet. And I'm there, I have really good ears, and I'm there, and my friend, who, like I said, is about ready to turn 91, she's just like, this is so perfect. You have a cat, I have a home, and we can enjoy each other's company. That's your space downstairs, my space is upstairs. I love it. There's no expectation for me to even pay a water bill or anything. And of course I contribute because that's what I want to do. But there's no need, because I have everything that I want. I don't have anything that I need. I'm going to pay the gas and electric regardless if you're here or not. And if it's a few extra bucks, I really don't care. I enjoy your company. Please stay. And I said, okay. And then I moved on in, and it's lovely. We're great, great friends. I could be downstairs for 2 days and never come up for air. She doesn't bother me. She can be upstairs and in her room for the day. I just listen. I just listen. I can hear her snore at night because her bedroom's above mine. And I like it. I'm like, she's doing well. So we're supporting and caring for each other. And we both have what we need. We all have what we need. Now, sometimes we may need to speak about what we need with our outside voices so that somebody doesn't have to do mind reading, because that could be a little tricky. Say what it is that you want and expect that it will come to you in the best way. The universe knows the how. The how is none of my business. None of my business. The law, we talk about the law. So in the creative process, there's the seed, the soil, and the plant. The law is that middle section, and it does for us what we ask it to do. That's what its job is. It doesn't care who we are. It just says, wow, somebody really loves this home. I think this is something that they should have, because I can feel it, and there's an impress made upon the law, and then it creates it for us. How it does it, nobody knows, but it does it. So here's a couple more ideas of daily practice for keeping the life force flowing. Consciously, mindfully bless others. Take a walk for the purpose of blessing people. Everyone you encounter, bless them. As you do this, you become energized because you have been letting God's energy flow through you. Every time you hear a siren on the street, stop for a moment and say a prayer of protection, of peace for all or who are concerned with that particular experience. Be willing to play. It's very important. Be willing to play and have the experience of abundance. It is already ours. It is already given. Everything has already been given to us in the moment that we were created. Everything was given to us. So the only thing that stops us from having our good is me. Yes, me. My limiting thoughts, or my fears, or my worries, or my concerns, or my. Playing frees that up. And I know we may say, well, yeah, but it's not real. Well, anything that you can imagine, anything that you can feel. I mean, how many sports teams are there where somebody's sitting in their chair and they're saying to them, now imagine you're running the 2-mile thing in 4 minutes or whatever. I don't know about that part. But imagine that you are doing that now. And they hook them up and they say, well, their heart's racing, all of these things are going on, and they're sitting in a chair. Imagine. And it becomes real for them. Their body doesn't know the difference. Our mind doesn't really know the difference either. We're making stuff up all of the time anyway. If we're going to make it up, make it mean something that's valuable and worthwhile for us. We're the meaning machines. We make it mean things. If we're going to make it mean things, make it mean we got it. We've got everything that we need, because that is the truth. That is the truth. We are godlings. We were created from spirit. It is what we are. So I know that right now you all have a pledge campaign that's going on. Please fill out your pledge card. Be generous in your giving, knowing that it is circular. It is something that as you give, and that's the key word, as you give, you receive. Give in joy, and you have joy. Make sense? So fill out that pledge card. Get whatever it is you're going to be willing to contribute. Be generous with it. There is nothing lacking this life or any other life. And we are beings that happens to be in a physical human body at this time, but life is eternal, and it goes on and on and on. So let's just play with it, huh? All right, let's take this into prayer. I give thanks for my good right now, knowing that it has been given to me already, I simply open to this grace. I open to this goodness. I open to the flow. I step in and I say yes. I say yes to my good. I say thank you for my good. And I pass my good on to others so that they may have what they desire, in whatever way they desire it. So I give of myself, I give of my life, I give of my joy, I give of my light, I give of my money, knowing that there is plenty, a limitless supply of money, of good, of love, of joy, of peace, of harmony. It is all mine now. And it does not in any way limit anybody else's flow. So I simply stay in this flow. I celebrate life. I rejoice in it. I give it life. This thing called abundance and prosperity and opulence. And I release anything that gets in the way of the truth of my being. I am a godly. I was created from spirit, and that is what I am. I am not anything else. I lack no thing ever. It is through the consciousness of good and of plenty, of love, that I know that there is more in my life that I could possibly even share. More good, more financial wonder everywhere I look. So I just play with this now. I play with it. I have fun with it, which removes all the barriers and all the blocks and all the blah, blah, blah. And instead brings forward the truth of my being, that I am abundant beyond my wildest imaginings. And so, yes, I fill out that card, and yes, I want to be a member of Centers for Spiritual Living. Absolutely, I would have no other way. I say yes, I support the community that I love. I embrace this philosophy, this life, this faith. And it is good. Very, very good. I release this word, my prayer, into the law, knowing that it cannot come back void. It must produce what's been put into it. It has no choice. It has no favorite. It only knows what's been pressed upon it and begins to bring that into fruition, into my life and into life everywhere. We are all prosperous beings, every single one of us, regardless of the appearance, regardless of the blockages that may be a part of our consciousness. Release it, let it go, and let it be. And so now I release this word into that law, which simply says yes. Yes, my beloved, this I do for you. And with that, I release it and I let it go. And please join me in saying, and so it is.
I live in the land of plenty. I live in the land of peace. I live in the land of plenty. I live in the land of love. Land of plenty. Living in the land of plenty.
now is time for our giving of our gifts. Thank you for all the ways you are continuously supporting this center. And thank you. We know everyone is honored here to support you spiritually, and we appreciate your financial gifts. Your generous contributions are important because it helps us to fulfill our vision of creating a world that works for everyone. As we engage in the law of circulation, we remember that God is our source, and we are circulating spirits, energy, in the form of money by giving and receiving. Please say this affirmation with me. My gift goes forth to heal and bless and prosper. It does its good and perfect work and returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is. If you want to give electronically today, please see our friend back there, Margie, sorry. I have another person in my life, her name's Margie. Please see Margie, and she can help you out with that. You're right, man. God is my source.
Let's sing. So as
Let's sing, yeah.
Okay. So as we witness the law of circulation, we're going to sing God is my source. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Joy gives me everything I need. Joy gives me everything I need.
So I speak this word of blessing as I stand before this most generous community, knowing that the grace of God is truly upon this moment, bringing the richness and the fullness of the infinite abundant one into the lives of those who have chosen to serve as an open conduit for that never-ending flow of the all-good of God and the ever-expanding expression of Spirit, allowing us to know that our source is not anything outside of us, not an employer, not a person, not an economy, but rather it is infinite and abundant. And I rest in a deep sense of peace and security, knowing that my well-being is drawn from that reservoir, that our community's well-being is drawn from that infinite wellspring that rests inside of me and which is forever bringing forth its good. And so, blessing the giver and the gift, I just speak a word of blessing. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, for this good before us. And together we say, and so it is. And so it is. And so we let it be. And so it is. And so we let it be.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I think I ran over a little bit. I apologize for my timing.
Your stories were completely worth it.
Thank you, Kristen. I appreciate that. Thank you to practitioner Sarah for being on the platform today. A big thanks to Tony Bernardi on the piano, Steve Bradford on the bass, and Matt Vidal, our service coordinator, to Dave Scarborough, for live streaming, to Tammy Evans on displaying the slides. Thank you to Helen and Mac Ware as our song leaders, and to all the volunteers that create this sacred place for us, not to say the least, for everyone, for being here. It takes all of us to bring forward these teachings and this philosophy. So thank you for those that are online, and thank you for those that are right here in the room for being with us during this celebration service. If you are joining us for the first time, we welcome you. I remember my first few visits to the Science of Mind Center. I could hardly believe what I heard, but I kept an open mind and kept coming back for more. I was really hungry. I really was. The messages provided me just what I needed, when I needed it. I was touched and deeply moved. My heart expanded. I belonged. I cried for 3 or 4 weeks. In the words of our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, this is paraphrased, there is a place in you and in me that is above confusion and fear. No matter how disturbed our thoughts may be, if we get quiet long enough and listen deep enough, we shall hear. Life gives us tools, but we have to use them. It is from the mountaintop that we receive inspiration, and we must keep the channels free and clear. We must provide a way for the ideas of spirit to flow into our minds and out into who we are being and what we are doing. And we must give our consent to them. Please come back and join us. We would love to give you a welcome packet if you are here with us for the first time. And Matt has that right back there. He's already waving at you. And that'll give you more information for you to know about us and some possible questions that you may want to come up with. And as you leave, get that from Matt. If you're online and you're not receiving information from us, please send us a Facebook message. We can help. Have a blessed week and come back. You are always welcome. We all belong here. See you next Sunday. And blessing, yes. Please, okay, I did a tricky thing here. Please respond with your blessing. How many lives are there?
There's only one life.
Whose life is that life?
God's life.
What is that life?
Perfect. Life is perfect.
For who and when is this perfect life?
That life is my life now.
There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Yes. Yes. And let's stand and for our closing song. Let there be peace on earth.
Stand